Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode of Ultima Final Fantasy, the ultimate in bouncy bounce Final Fantasy podcasts. I am your host, Caleb Schweiss.
I am Joe.
And today, we are going to be reviewing Dawn of Mana.
Classic.
Yeah, PS2 classic, a game I've owned for a long time. I think I bought it the same day I bought Legend, maybe. No, I don't know. I don't remember. It was a long time ago. It was this guy who was selling his like Uber Square collection and RPG collection the moment I walked into DVD Game Exchange in Orem at its old location on State Street there. And I picked it up because it looked like a Square game that was probably going to be worth a lot of money. And the guy that was there that day was kind of a noob. So I think we got a pretty good deal on a lot of stuff. But it's one of those games where I bought and then I just put it on the shelf and never opened it. I didn't even look at the inside or anything. I was like, all right, one day. And lo and behold, that day is, about 4 days ago when I started it.
I bought it brand new as part of the show. It was factory sealed for like $33.
Oh, wow.
Of course, no greatest hits edition. I can't imagine why.
Yeah, that's weird.
But yes, this is our second. Oh my gosh, the hiccups have returned. It is our second to last game in the Mana series that we are playing for the show. There is one more official Mana title that was released for the PS Vita in Japan, but because there's not an English translation of it that's official that we can buy for the show, we will not be playing it. So the next game and last game in the series, god damn it, is Heroes of Mana. So
Heroes of Mana.
Heroes of Mana. But yeah, we've spent the last week playing this game.
Yeah. I had a last minute like come to Jesus moment where I was like, you know what? We've been doing this for so long. I don't mind finishing up this Mana game. And like I loaned Joe my PS2 because he doesn't have a working PS2, and all the people near us are unreliable as far as loaning their PS2s. We've come to find, and so I loaned him mine, and the plan was for him to burn through it in like a couple days.
It's going to be 3 days. It was going to be 3 4-hour sessions because on howlongtobeat.com it stated that this game took about 12 hours to beat.
Yeah, that is a lie.
That turns out not to be true at all.
Yeah, I don't know what my time is, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be more than 12 hours.
Yeah, my time was 22 hours. I mean, my total time in the game was 22 hours and like 54 minutes. And I had a restart 5 hours in. That, of course, really means that my beginning to end playtime on the mode that I played it in was 5 hours less than that. So it was 17 hours, almost 18 hours.
Yeah. I haven't tallied up my time yet. You could probably do that for me. I sent you screenshots of all my time. We'll work it out, and I'll let you guys know what it took me. But, yeah, I was like, you know what? Let's do this. Like, let's burn through this game. Because, Joe, every time we have a conversation about how we're like, we'll just give it a few hours a week. I'm like, you know what? No. I know we haven't played this for 3 weeks straight, but let's just beat it this week. Like, let's just burn through it. It's supposed to be short. Every time we have a layup, like Joe messaged me, we get fucking, like, blocked hard.
Blocked very hard.
Yeah, the plan was
constipated for days.
Yeah, nothing but cheese. and see, Joe, the plan was for you to beat it and then bring me my shit back so that I could beat it. That didn't really work out quite the way we wanted it to.
No, it took me 2 more days to beat it than I thought it would.
Yeah, and so I, really wanting to get this done before I go on my trip in about an hour and a half from now, as we record this, was like, you know what? I'm going to find somebody that has a PlayStation 2, because you've got mine. You've got it for a couple more days. And so I just opened up Facebook Messenger, and I messaged one of the other hosts of another show on the network, whom I won't sully with their unreliability with their PS2 on this show. And they didn't, they said they were going to look and never got back to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to scroll until I find somebody that I'm pretty sure has a PlayStation 2. And it was my old work buddy, Chris. And I was like, Chris has a PS2. I know he does.
This episode dedicated to Chris.
Yeah. And I message him and I'm like, hey, what are you doing right now? He's like, oh, I'm just kind of like, having a couple shots and playing something. And I was like, do you have a PS2? Because I got a weird request. And he's like, yeah, I got a PS2. And I was like, do you mind if I borrow it for a few days? Because I've got this game I need to beat. And he said, yeah. And so I go over to his house at like 11:30 at night. I got there about midnight. And then, of course, he's a very talkative man. And so I did stay there till about 2:10 in the morning, sitting in front of his house in the dark, just talking to this guy, holding his PS2. And my arms were getting kind of sore holding this slim PS2, which is really, really sad. That's a sad state of my body right now. But I get it back. And I fire it up that night because I had that night off and I was like really itching to play it because I'm like, this is the night I have off. Like I have Sunday night off because we did Nude Clan and I'm like, I need to play it tonight. So I borrowed the PS2 from this guy and I started it up and I got through the tutorial and I think mission 1 the first night. And I was like, oh, okay, I think I can beat this with no problems on normal because I wanted to beat it on normal just because I felt like I had to. Because I knew Joe was playing it on something else.
We'll talk about it.
And so, I get the game going. I'm playing it. I play it for a couple days, and it's going okay. I'm not advancing super fast, but I was like, I'll be able to make it. And about 3 days in, I think, to me playing it, something strange happens. And now, mind you, let's back up. Back up. The night I got the PS2, I come back, and I put the components of the PS2 down on the ground. I, plug it in. I grab my shitty tube TV from upstairs that is awful now. I don't know what happened to it with the last time I loaned it out, but it, I had to put a blanket underneath it. There was so much static in this machine that it would not work for a while. And, I plugged it in, and it was just... It was buzzing and the screen was all jacked up. And then I would I pulled one of I think it was the red cord out, the input out of the TV, and I could place it on top of the fucking metal, and it would give me a better signal than plugging it in. There was a lot of static in this TV.
What the hell?
Yeah, it was crazy. And so I put a blanket underneath it, and I jiggered it to the point where it fucking worked with this bullshit angle, and so I had this stupid blanket under it the whole time I'm playing, and then the sound is all and shitty, and so I'm like, okay, let's try the headphone jack. I plug the headphone jack in, it's so I pull the headphone jack part way out, and then it kind of works, and then the longer I played it, the better it became. But before that, though, before I even got it plugged in, Chris gave me the PlayStation, the power cord, a controller, 2 controllers actually, and a fucking red, white, yellow with another red, white, yellow on the other end. And so I was like, fuck. He gave me the wrong fucking cord. I'm like, oh my God, no. And so I'm digging through my cabinets and trying to find do I have an extra PS2 cord? Do I have an extra one anywhere?
PS1 maybe?
Yeah, no. The answer was no. But last second I was like, the only other place I can think of is that box of giveaway games in our attic that we have for Nude Clan. I was like, Joe's got a bunch of PS2 shit in there. Maybe we've got a cord in there. And I went up in there, and there was a cord.
Are you fucking serious? Is my PS2 in there?
No, it's not. Just the cord.
What the hell?
Just your controllers, a memory card, games, and the cord.
Oh, shit. My memory card is in there.
Yeah.
I bought a new memory card for this game.
Oh, really? Oh, that sucks. Fuck. Yeah, so I found it up there, and I was like, oh, thank God.
Did you find my other memory card in the game? It was in the game.
No, I didn't
game
even
case.
Open your game case. Because what happened later, and I've had this clairvoyance in the past where I'll do something to a piece of electronic, and I'll be like, man, I think I might have been a little rough there. Maybe that was a little on the rough side. And, sometimes it's when I'm slamming it into the ground and shattering it. Sometimes it's just when I'm turning it off a little hard. It varies. There's a range when it comes to oh, man, maybe it's going to be fucked up. And Chris's PS2, it's a slim, and I put my hand on it, and I had a little bit of pressure on it, and I just turned it off. I held the button. And then I was like, oh, man, I don't know. I feel weird about the way I turned that off. And so I turn it back on. This is after the first day. I played it for like 2 hours that night. I turn it back on, and it's not reading the game. Like, it just doesn't read the game. And I'm like, oh, my fucking God. Like, what the fuck is wrong? And I was like, did I scratch the shit out of my disc? Did I ruin this guy's PS2? So I grab a copy of Resident Evil Outbreak File 2, the closest PS2 game to me, and I put it in there, and it works just fine. I grab another PS2 game. It works just fine. And then I put that one back in. Doesn't read it. And so I'm thinking like, oh my God, I ruined my fucking disc. Like I'm going to have to wait for Joe to beat this fucking game before I play it again. And then I was like, you know what? Fuck it. It's like 7 a.m. I got to go to bed. And so I go to sleep, wake up the next day, plug it in. It works just fine. I play it for like 3 hours straight. And then I turn it off to go get Alex some ice and water from the gas station. And I come back and it fucking isn't working again. And I'm just like, what the fuck is wrong with this fucking game? And Joe, I'm like back and forth with Joe, like, oh, I need you to bring me my shit. Oh, wait, no, it's working again. No, I need you to bring me my shit. And then I was like, dude, just fucking bring it down. Like, I know it's your fucking birthday, but you're going to spend it on the road giving me my fucking shit back.
You're going to go to work, and then immediately you're going to get cleaned up, and then you're going to drive to Caleb Schweiss's house, and that's going to be your birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Yeah.
It's for the show. And so he brings it down, and the disc works just fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with the disc. There's nothing wrong with his PS2. There's just something wrong with that disc and that PS2. They don't like each other. And I don't know what it is.
Probably because last time that disc was in the PS2, it hurt. It was hurt by it.
I guess, yeah. And, dude, it's like there's this weird fucking aura of a curse around this game. And that's before we even get into the game itself.
Yeah, and I'm just trying to talk about the game, and I keep getting hiccups.
Yeah. Do I need to, like, scare you or something?
I don't know, dude. Sometimes it happens.
But, yeah, that's the issue with the game. And then, of course, playing the game, I was like, okay, I'll have it, I need it finished by a certain time. And so yesterday, I got home from work, and it was, the day before, I think, it was fucking late. It was like 8:15 in the morning when I left. And so I worked like over 12 hours. And then Alex is like, well, why don't you just go play now and then we'll leave later and then, you can go to sleep. And so that kind of happens. And she's got a bunch of other things. And so I'm like kind of playing, kind of watching the baby who's wretched at this day. And I'm like, I can't really get any time in. And then I have to go to sleep. And then I wake up today. I wake up at like 6 o'clock and I try to burn through the game last night. And there's like no way, dude. I got to chapter 8, like verse 2, vine 2, and then and then I was like, fuck, I'm gonna have to beat this when I get home. Like, I was planning on coming home, spending about an hour-ish, beating the game.
I got this.
Yeah, sleeping for about 2.5, 3 hours, and then I wake up rosy and ready.
There was an ample warning from your co-host saying you're gonna get fucking stuck on this game.
Yeah, and I got stuck twice solidly. The first time was way worse than this time. So I haven't slept at all. I think I woke up at 6 yesterday after 4 hours of sleep. So that's what I did to do this. And the reason why I did this, the big reason why I did this is because I'm going on a plane and I'm going to have like 9 hours of flight time. And I want to have that DS with me, and I want to play some of that fucking Heroes of Savannah.
I think you're going to go to sleep.
There's a good chance I'm not going to play it at all. But, it'll still be worth it because we got it, man. We did it.
We did it!
Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let's not celebrate about we did it. Let's celebrate of it's over!
Yeah.
That's where we can do that.
Well, you got some dev history for it?
I do. And you'll have to forgive me for these hiccups. I think this is like the 4th time this happened on this show, but I don't know when they're going to end. So this was part of the polymorphic content regime that Square Enix had starting in 2003, which we talked about a little bit more in depth last time. And this one was actually when they decided to do their Project Mana thing.
Fuck. Yeah.
This was the only one that wasn't a spinoff in that. And this is straight up Seiken Densetsu 4. This is the 4th official or 4th mainline Mana game.
Yeah, I think when I think of mainline, I think of absolutely changing the formula on everything. Like just being like, you know what we had before? Just pick it up and then dump it out in the garbage and like, all right, now we got nothing. We got some fucking character models. We got these stupid little bunny blob dudes. We're making it. That's all we got.
We got bunny blob dudes and we're good.
Yeah, that's all we need.
This was, and there's a lot of talk of trees, of course. This was directed and produced by Koichi Ishii. Once again, he's done all these games so far. The script was by a writer named Ryo Akagi. The story being by Masato Kato, who was the writer of Chrono Trigger, Radical Dreamers, Xenogears, Chrono Cross, and Final Fantasy IX.
Oh, wow. So, yeah.
Yeah, he did the story. He didn't do the script. The goal at the time was to convert the Mana world into 3D, which they tried to make happen on Legend of Mana, but obviously they ran into issues with that. You can hear about that in the Legend of Mana episodes. But they were finally able to do a fully 3D Mana game and really convert, what we had from Final Fantasy Adventure to Secret of Mana to Trials of Mana, really take that into the 3D realm. And that was their goal. But then in 2004, there was a Half-Life demo that Koichi Ishii saw. And it was like a physics demo. It was called the Havoc Physics demo. Yeah. And it made him want to change the way this game played and how players would deal with the environment specifically. I assume not only this game, but also the last game in the series that we played, Children of Mana. But anyway, that basically changed the entire format of the game. And now the game is what it is. Anyway, it was released in December 21st, 2006 in Japan, just a few months after Children of Mana. And then in North America, it was released May 24th, 2007. The composers, the people who did the music, one of them a returning one, Kenji Ito, who did most of the music. The arrangements of the older themes were by Tsuyoshi Sekito. And some of those arrangements, plus a little bit of the extra battle music, was by a little-known composer named Masayoshi Soken, who you may know now does the music for Final Fantasy XIV. I think this was his first Square game. It's one of his first 5 games he did any composing for. He's worked for Ito before as well. And then the main theme that plays, I believe, in the credits of the game was by a Grammy Award-winning Japanese composer named Ryoichi Sakamoto. So there's a lot of composers who worked on the game. And when the game was released in 2007, wasn't received well at all. What? The Metacritic, I know. The Metacritic score for the game is 57 out of 100. The Famitsu, who usually blows Japanese games, Famitsu gave it 30 out of 40.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
That's pretty rough for Famitsu. So yeah, we'll see how we feel about the game, I guess, by the end of this thing.
Yeah.
But we can do a quick rundown of the story if you want.
I guess, yeah. Probably better.
All right, so this takes place, guess where? Illusia. And you're playing a character named Keldrick, who's like a warrior. He's like the protector of the maiden, the tree maiden, whose name is Ritzia. And one day her pet gets loose and you got to go save her pet in the prologue, a.k.a. the tutorial of this game. And while you're out trying to get her pet, Illusia is attacked, and you got to rush to protect the sacred beast sleeping under the tree, because that's what you think they're going for. When you get there, this magic tree, or this magic seed attaches to your arm, to Keldrick's arm, which gives him powers, including like grappling shit randomly, and all the things you could do in the game are part of the magical powers that the seed gives you. It reminded me a lot with like the crazy arm thing with Princess Mononoke. It just reminded me of that just a little bit.
Yeah, I thought Prince of Persia, but I guess that's earlier, so that makes sense.
So it turns out that this guy who attacked you, they're led by this guy named Stroud, and he was actually looking for Ritzia, and he kidnaps her, and he's going to use her as a key or part of a key to open up a portal to the land of darkness, so he can rule the world. And that land of darkness is called Mavolia.
Yeah, we're familiar with that.
Yeah, and so the next thing that has to happen is that Keldrick and Faye, which is the name of a fairy that you come across in the game that helps you out, really similar to another famous fairy from the late 90s.
Yes. You even kind of want to fuck her just a little bit. So she's not as famous,
Okay.
but
I didn't.
give me that Tinkerbell.
I didn't think about that at all.
I thought about her jerking me off. I don't know. I was like, now that Titsy is gone, it's just
So they try to get.
sorry.
Jesus. They try to get
I like it when you beat your wings on my balls.
the Laura Marion army to leave. The Laura Marion's is Shroud's army.
Yeah, they're the dude. Did you see their armor in this game? Like they have like smiley faces on their shoulder pads, and they look like the Kingdom Hearts bad guys.
They do. There's a lot of overlap between this and Kingdom Hearts. A lot of surprising overlap.
Yeah.
And they try to get him to leave the village. They chase after Shroud and free Ritzia. Unfortunately, Shroud at that moment has the other part of the key, which is the Sword of Mana. And using her and the sword, he is able to release the Grimleys, which are, I guess, just fiends. They're the fiends of Mavolia. They make people turn into creatures, and in this case, it seems to make Ritzia totally evil in that.
Yeah.
When he releases all that.
And definitely hotter.
Definitely. Anyway, we fast forward a year, and Keldrick has to go and find Ritzia, or finally find Ritzia, and Ritzia is not back to her normal self. She's saying she's going to rule the world herself. And it's around then that Keldrick finds a masked stranger that tells him that he is the one who opened the portal years ago and sealed the maiden Anise inside, and he also reveals Stroud to be Keldrick's brother.
Yeah. Anise, otherwise known as like that black licorice flavor. It's good stuff, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
That's right. Oh, shit, okay.
Yeah, she tastes like black licorice.
I was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
All right. Like she's evil?
No, she's delicious.
So it turns out Ritzia is being possessed by Anise, and Anise is actually trying to destroy the world. And Shroud at this point is trying to stop her, but is being possessed by dark energy. So in order to save the day, Keldrick must kill both his brother and his best friend.
Yeah, which they make a big deal about, but like Shroud, you found out he was your brother after you already kicked his ass once. So it's like, well, you're not really family. I mean,
and in the end, Ritzia's spirit, it's just freed after you kill her, merges with Faye and the Tree of Mana, and they seal the portal up and they restore the world. And of course, all this is told in flashback from some random ass fairy characters.
Yeah, like all the summon like creatures in this world are the ones that are like sitting around a campfire smoking ganja and fucking recalling the story.
No, but it starts with them being like, let us recount the days of Matt, and they all are telling the story twice. It's not one storyteller. The stupid thing that they set up at the beginning of this game is that these guys are in a circle here and they all know the same story and are just recounting it to each other.
Yeah, why would you do that?
Why would anybody ever do that ever?
Yeah, it's like we all know the story. No one knew it was there except for us as the viewers, but that's breaking that wall.
But we're not there.
Yeah, I'm not around that campfire with these losers. Like, come on.
Anyway, that's the story in the broad strokes of Dawn of Mana. It takes place apparently 10 years before Children of Mana.
So it's kind of like the revitalization of the world. Children. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Yeah, some atrocious voice acting.
Yeah.
First time voice acting has been in the series, and it is
It's eye-watering.
the first scene, especially when you go back to the campfire stuff, the beginning and at the end.
Yeah.
Painful.
Yeah.
Painful. At the end, when the guy, what did he just say? He was like saying something about the future, about how people and the mana and the tree and everything will live together in harmony. And there was some like eight sentence line that everybody knew the call and response for.
Yeah.
That was intense. I wish I had written it down, but it is insane.
We need to bring about a future where like sprites or whatever the hell they are and people live together in harmony.
Together in perfect harmony. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
It was really, really long.
It was so long, so awkward. I don't even think it was on screen, so I feel like they could have done something different in the English voice acting to make that not ridiculous.
Yeah.
One of them has like an Irish accent that is questionable. The green one, the dryad spirit.
Yeah.
I mean, they all kind of have questionable voice acting, but that one especially, when she starts talking, I'm like, stop. Please stop.
You're not quite there, yeah.
Not
and then
quite there.
the like vaguely Eastern European, like Russian shade guy. It's just like European bad guy in a movie. That's his voice. And then the Irish and the Scottish. And like I don't know.
First of all, why do they all have different accents? They're all in the same fucking area.
I know. I've started to notice that with some of these games, like just any game, honestly. After we were spoiled by like the likes of 12 and a couple other games that actually care about their voice acting and the regional accents and things like that. That's really cool.
It goes with regional accents of the game itself.
Yeah.
And it gives us equivalents in English.
Right. And so it's cool. But in here, it's just like you just felt like giving them this accent just for the hell of it. There's no reason. It's just, of course she's got that accent.
Oh, and they definitely hired someone who didn't have that accent either, and they decided on the day that they were going to have him do it.
Yeah. They're like, just give us your best accent, and that's what we'll slap on this fucking little sprite character here.
Gosh, it's worse than my voice acting would have been.
Yeah.
Mine, which would have been terrible.
Yeah.
There's like the guy who's playing a what do you call it? The miner guy?
The gnome dude?
Yeah. That guy's like a Liam Neeson impersonator. He's like, he'd be fine for like a dinner party, but he's no professional.
Yeah, it could be in a game. It's a little much.
Yeah. So, with the painful voice acting, I mean, that was painful, and that was pretty much just a little bit of a pain throughout almost all the cutscenes in this game. There was always something wrong with the voice acting somewhere in a cutscene. So that was tough. The story itself on paper, especially the second half of the game, looks like it'd be fine if I could get into the story whatsoever, and if I wasn't just angry at the game while playing it instead.
Yeah, if you weren't trying to think about how to scare everybody when you're fucking rolling through there, it's like, boo! Maybe we'd
no
have
one
time
understands what you mean by that.
Maybe we would have time to fucking concentrate on the story if we weren't trying to like devise ways to make people shit their pants in this game.
I mean, if I didn't have like a vein popping out of my head, like like
seeing stars,
shorting off my blood supply right before I finally kill a fucking boss, and then the scene, the cutscene starts, and I just like, and then just like the relaxed moment fades away, and when that happens, I blank out just a little bit.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, then maybe I could look positively on the story. I would say that the story in general for me was like, it was all right. I could see that they put a little bit more effort into it than the other ones. It's certainly a lot more simple, and that helps the game.
Yeah.
Then I'd say like the other three main series, or the last two at least, main series, mana games, Secret of Mana or Trials of Mana, which had really complex things that you don't have characters to get into at all. This one tried more on that, and it was much more simple and straightforward. I think probably because of the writer who was the story by credit. I think that guy's influence was probably a lot more. He had a lot more clarity in a narrative than the other ones have been previously, which were, I believe, written by Ishii. So this is someone else.
Yeah, I don't know. There wasn't really anything that stood out. The characters were okay. There was like a Watts character in this one as well. He was kind of cool. He had this like fucking, I don't know, Metal Gear machine that he would roll around in that was actually pretty shitty, and you had to like babysit it because he'd get hit by one little thing and he'd just be like stunned. So I don't know. I didn't really have fun with any of the characters except for Ritzia, old Titsia.
Because of the nickname he gave her more than Ritzia herself.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm not really into her. Just using her for her body. But no, I don't know. It's just kind of like one of those games where, you know, there's a story in there and it's not really captivating. I thought it was kind of cool how it brought people in from the other games, like that side story with the chick Ritzia turns into and then the masked guy. But it's not really. I wish it was something from like Legend of Mana. I think that would have been cooler because I think the characters in Legend of Mana were cooler than the rest of the series pretty much. And like it was they were kind of mysterious, like the dude and like the princess, the path that we took. Like those guys were kind of like mysterious and interesting, and so I think it would have been cool if it would have been them. And I was like hoping that that's what they were doing, but then they didn't do it, and so I was like, all right, well, whatever. But I don't know. Yeah, it's just really basic, and the way they told the story is really funky. Just dudes like telling the story that they all know.
That was the problem with it. I mean, not only the framing device, but also between the chapters, there's just like some exposition dump from the party of storytellers around the campfire. So you got to go through that just a little bit, and they'll just like jump forward in time, and it's not very dramatic or anything like that. They'll be like, and a year later.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I didn't think that was a very good device. So
yeah, and then one of the chapters like ended with you being captured, like you were captured when you were trying to save Titsia. And then the next chapter began and you're out. And I'm like, well, what happened? Like, they just let him go? Because they just captured the guy. Like when they took over your village and they're like, take him away. And then it's like, do you want to save your game? Yeah, I'll save my game. All right, cutscene starts and you're out. And I was like, well, what do you mean he's out? Like, how did he get out? They just fucking like, oh, just kidding, let him go. He's just a kid. Yeah, so it's like really, it is kind of that way where it's like an indiscriminate amount of time later. And then that's where we resume our tale.
yeah.
And like, who the fuck would tell a story like that? Yeah, it's like these people are weird. These sprite beasts. They're telling each other. They're sitting around a campfire, recounting a story that they all know, and they have a fucking like zinger at the end that they're all ready for. Like, oh, this is just building up to this one awkward line that they monotonously fucking say all at once. Yeah, they're really cringy. Like, wow, that's a mouthful of something. Yeah,
Hurts.
That's their epic climax. Yeah, it's a weird setup, and I don't know. It's just strange that they would do this way. It's almost like they're looking, and they are. This whole like Project of Mana. This is right around the time they're doing all these Crystal Chronicles. This is like harvest every fucking IP we have.
This is half of the fucking games we got to go through.
I know, it really is.
2003 to 2012. Have fun, guys.
Yeah, it's like fucking 80% of the games they've ever made.
Oh my god,
it's crazy. And
now that I know that that's a thing, we went through this entire show. Now I didn't know that was like, you know, Square's project bullshit. You know?
Yeah.
Project make money.
Yeah, the great leap forward over there. Fucking huge.
Christ.
Huge thing. It's seriously though, it's a lot. And then like the 7 compilation.
Polymorphic content. Sorry.
Yeah. Polymorphic my ass. I got your fucking polymorph. Yeah, dude, it's like the 7 stuff, the Crystal Chronicles, these fucking games are like, oh, what can we like bring back to life?
What brand can we destroy by having
brutally murder at the end?
mediocre polymorphic should be like poly mediocrity content. Jesus Christ.
What things from the past can we bring back and, like display their corpse for the masses and just marionette it around?
I knew this was going to happen when Square and Enix got together. I knew it.
Yeah. They're going to ruin mana. I swear to God, they're going to ruin mana.
They're going to ruin mana.
Ruin what? Mana. The mana games. Yeah, dude. Oh, man, it's so weird that they did this. Like,
I'm glad they tried. I think the story was easier to follow than pretty much all the other games.
Yeah, the mana stories are just so fucking like annoying, and then just
they move along fast. You don't really get into characters of the world. It really is gameplay centric. Yeah, something you really want to get to. Like in the previous games, Ishii outside of Legend of Mana, which is kind of the odd one out here.
Not anymore.
Ishii was like, screw the story stuff. It needs to be there because it's a Square game, but we'll make it fairies and shit, and you won't be able to understand it because every line will have some made up word in it. And then get back to the dungeon crawling, bro.
I was crawling. That's
the good
for sure.
stuff.
I was on my hands and knees crying out.
The good stuff. I mean, so far all the games, the gameplay has far outstripped the story elements.
I mean, I guess that's probably true here too. I guess it's fucking weird though. I don't know. I've come to accept. So this game, someone in your chat was like, "Oh, is this the one where you have to hit enemies with shit to like kill them?"
Yes.
And I was like, "Kinda. I mean, really, all you're trying to do is scare the enemies." And then they are like freaking the fuck out, like, "Oh my God, did you see that giant pillar just fly past my head?" And then you beat the shit out of them to steal their poker chips, and that's how you level up.
They are poker chips. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah, they are. That's how you level up in this game. And not only that, every level, your level up goes away. The only way you get to keep it is if you get these medals for doing these optional tasks, and you can like equip them, you can pin them to your fucking shirt or whatever. But that's okay. So it's like, it's weird. It's fucking weird. And you just like destroy the environment. It's like they really liked what they saw with Red Faction and stuff like that, and said, you know what if we made it insufferable to actually just go through and play the game normally? The only way you can level up pretty much is to throw shit at the dudes. They get scared, and then you go beat the shit out of them while they're afraid. It feels kind of wrong.
Yeah. There's 8 chapters. We'll just get straight into gameplay. 8 chapters.
Yeah.
1 prologue that's like 10 minutes long that teaches you how to play the game. If you're paying attention to it, of course. Now, there are some interesting mechanics where you're talking about throwing things in the environment. All over the environment is almost totally destructible in this game.
Which is cool. I mean, it's kind of cool.
Sure, yeah, kind of cool. And, of course, the power that the seed gives you, it gives you like a Indiana Jones whip thing that you can pull, enemies and objects towards you and throw them. That's basically all you need to know besides the attack button. But you're right. It's you have to. It's not just about hacking and slashing the enemies, and that the occasional drop of the poker chip, occasionally boosts your attack or your MP or something, and that levels you up to maybe like a max of level 4. It's not just that. It's that the drops are increased by you scaring the bejesus out of the the enemies.
Yeah, dude. All I could think of was,
and not scaring them is almost not worth it.
Yeah, you might as well just run past them. All I could think of was that fucking South Park episode. I think it's called The Startling, and it's the one where it's like a found footage thing. I think it's making fun of Blair Witch.
Okay.
That's what it is. And like it's Randy, and he's just like, I'm so startled. He says that like all the time, like, wave to the camera, Shelly. And then like it's just that episode. That's what this game reminded me of, because if you're gonna make it worth your while, you gotta like, okay, I gotta go find something. Like, can I beat this thing down? Can I like knock this fucking tree out of the ground and then chuck it at these guys? And then they're like, oh, while they're bouncing around and just like.
That's the whole fucking game. And there's no other way to scare them that was reliable except for pulling objects and chucking them.
Yeah.
Right? Or pushing the objects.
I just bounced. Yeah, I just shoved them.
Yeah. And so if you don't do that, then you're just attacking them. And sometimes when you kill an enemy, it'll drop sometimes it'll drop a healing item, and sometimes it'll drop a stat boost if you don't bounce. But if you bounce, it'll drop multiple stat boosts. So that's what you have to do.
And it's dependent on just how scared they are, which really makes it kind of dark. Like you're truly terrifying these people. Like you're some master of terror. You're like fucking
it's so bizarre.
Yeah, you're like you're like Romero, or the dude that did the fucking Hills Have Eyes and all those other movies.
Wes Craven.
Craven, yeah, you're like Wes Craven in here. Like, how can I scare the shit out of these guys and then fucking kill them? It feels kind of wrong. Like I'm scaring these beasts of the forest, and then I'm just hacking them to pieces with my bullshit like vine arm.
Yeah,
that they can't possibly stand a chance against. So in just how afraid they are is how you like get better items from them, and it's kind of I think I like the you don't keep your levels, you have to kind of earn it, because then it's like pay to play, and you're like, all right, how much time do I want to put into this level? And the last level I was like no time, and so my main thing was get to level 3. And then just blast through the rest of the level, and I would just kind of grind. And then I would treat it kind of like Dark Souls, honestly, where it's like you kind of figure out where you need to go, you get your level up, and then you just fucking book it. Like nothing in my way. I'm bypassing all these fucking yak dudes, and I'm not messing with any of these things. And I would get to the end and then move on. And that's kind of how I approached the game. Until the very end, and then I was like, fuck it, level 2 is good enough, man. It really kind of wasn't, but I made it, and it's. I kind of like that idea, because when you get into the new area, it resets your stats, and the only way to keep the stats is by unlocking these medals, like I was talking about earlier. That you complete certain objectives, like get a certain attack score in a level, and you'll unlock a medal, and you can equip a certain amount based on how far you are in the game, how many slots you have unlocked, and that'll up your it'll up your attack, or you'll up your MP and stuff like that, and that'll actually level you up.
Yeah.
And so I would go into these levels level 2 on both things, and so I'd only have to level up one time. I would usually just worry about the physical attack, and so that's kind of how I played the game, just scaring a bunch of people, killing their asses, and then burning through.
Oh yeah, burning through. Let me tell you.
Yeah, burning the midnight oil.
Just
cruising.
Cruising right through that game.
Yeah, fucking easy.
Yeah, I did easy. Let's get into it. Let's get into how fucking bullshit this game is.
Yeah.
My God. We thought it was a layup. Like Troy said before, I was like, 12-hour game. This must be easy as shit.
Yeah.
I mean, the last few minutes, all the Manic games up till now had like a couple hard points. Even the last one, which was frustrating and long, it wasn't like a hard game.
Yeah. It was just a stupidly long game for what it was.
I don't know,
Trials fucking dunked on my ass at the end, but other than that, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this is the whole time.
Dude. Level 1, I made it just fine. I skirted through just fine.
Yeah.
Okay? Yeah. We go to chapter 2. I go to chapter 2 and I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna speed through this thing, right? And so I then take off in chapter 2, and I just decide that I'm just gonna kill the guys around me. I started this game in normal mode, like you did. And then I got to that fucking tree.
Oh my God.
At the end of chapter 2, and Schweiss, I have an hour and a half. I don't know. You can see it on fucking Twitch right now. The videos are there. An hour and a half, like me trying it like 11 times on this really long boss fight at the end of chapter 2, and I could not beat him. And I was near tears. My goal was to get through chapter 3 by the end of my first night, because of course I had 3 days to give you your PlayStation 2 back so we could beat this in time for your trip. And so I'm just like killing myself trying to get this thing. It was like 1 a.m. and I'm fucking dying. I'm dying over and over again. And then I did something and I said, Schweiss, I'm going to restart this game in easy mode.
And it's funny because we just ribbed on you on Nude Clan about this shit. Like,
I know.
Pretty hard.
I know. But I had no choice because it was really like me doing this over and over again until like God decides until God decides it's time for me to beat that tree. And like all the RNG comes into place and I don't get hit by 12 pumpkins in a row.
Oh, dude. You know, fucking Christ.
When fucking Christ comes down, that's when I'll be able to beat this game.
I think this was the tree he was crucified on. Like this, they took the wood from this evil tree.
God. And I can't, oh man, dude. And I was just like, I was half like, fuck, I'm going to get made fun of for playing this on easy. But the other half of me was like, fuck, I got to play levels 1 and 2 again.
Yeah.
Oh, and luckily it didn't take that long because it took like an hour, I think, to like catch up in the chapter 2 thing. Or when I restarted to get to chapter 2. And I was able to beat that tree. And of course, like doing that, like being stuck on that tree made it so that I now knew how to play the game when I played it in easy mode. And so instead of kind of like rushing to the ending, I should have been like 1 level higher when I had played it before. I knew now that the goal was to scare as many people as possible, get as much stats as possible on the way. And so unlike you, I wasn't like wasn't going for level 3 because I was never really sure if like that was the level I was supposed to be on by the end of it. Of course, it seemed that way by, chapter 6. But yeah, I was like everything on the way, try to get as much stat boost as possible. Don't try to kill everything though, because that's a waste of time. Because there's just so many things and enemies respawn like crazy in this game.
Yeah, like there was one level, it was level 3, the fucking prick level of the game, where there was this like area with the goblin guys and they just kept coming and I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna grind.
I had real trouble. So the final boss of chapter 2, we both had serious troubles with. And you were able to beat him on normal. I was not. I had to restart the fucking game. I wasted 5 hours in this game. I had 5 hours I'll never get back that don't matter to my save whatsoever. So that was nice. Then you get to chapter fucking 3. And chapter 3 is huge. You went from like two levels that were just hallways.
Yeah.
You go into chapter 3 and it's just fucking like it's the entirety of the Mojave Desert out in front of you, and you have to figure it out to how to get to the next area. And there are these certain areas become a little Legend of Zelda-ish, where you have to like kill enemies or solve a puzzle in some sort of way, or usually break something to get a key in order to get to in order to get past a fence or a cave or something like that to get into the next area.
Is it a key or is it like a fucking gay pride butt plug thing?
We had
almost
the same exact thought. I thought it was I thought in the game that it looked like a rainbow dildo.
Yeah.
But I mean, gay pride butt plug also would be a perfectly good way of describing this object known as the special key.
Yeah, it's a special key because it goes right up your ass, just like this game.
There was one part in chapter 3. So chapter 3 is when the platforming started.
Dude, fuck chapter 3. Oh my god.
Chapter 3 is when the platforming started, and there was a certain point in chapter 3 that had like this minecart that you would have to like hit a button for, and the minecart would slowly come out, and then you would have to hop on the minecart, and then it rides you down to an area where you're not supposed to be, by the way. It just rides you down there. And then if you want, you can painfully try to walk back up the minecart thing to try to find the path. And of course, I knew it because I was lost there for an hour and 20 minutes. I checked on fucking Twitch. How long was I lost on this one fucking part. And it was an hour and 20 minutes because I had no idea where the fuck to go next. I had no idea. And that's how long it took me to find when I was finally, I'm like, I have fucking had it. I looked up someone speed running this thing on YouTube, and it's like, oh my God, how would I have ever figured this out? How the fuck would I have ever figured this fucking thing out? You have to, when you're hopping on the minecart, there's like these faces on the side, and one of them gives you the key if you smack it, but you can't smack it when you're not on the minecart.
Yeah, it's like a little minecart minigame.
You have to go back the fuck up, which I did many times just looking for the next path.
Yeah.
You have to go back up the minecart and get on the minecart, slowly make your way down, hitting all the faces along the way until one of them gives you the fucking key.
Yeah, dude.
You can't just go on your bare feet, walk up the path, and like hit the thing, and it'll give you the key.
I knew that's how you got it, but see, what happened to me is I did that fucking part.
God.
And I thought I got a key because there's all these fucking things that look like a key that don't look like it's something that I'd see in a porno. And then there's the thing that is the key that looks like I'm going to stick it up someone's ass. And so I'm fucking playing the game, and I go down the minecart thing, and I'm like, okay, well, and then I got to the end where the door is, and then it's like, boop, 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 little fucking like thought icon. It's like, oh, ass plug. And I'm like, I don't have an ass plug. And so I'm like, what the fuck is this game? And dude, I pulled up my time for that chapter. This is time that I lost. 2 hours and 29 minutes. I spent trying to figure out what the fuck to do in this stupid fucking level. And I had to go to work. Like, I started it early. I was like, I'm going to burn through chapter 3 and probably chapter 4. I've got like 5 hours to play this game.
Joe's a pussy.
Yeah, Joe's a bitch. And then I burned through the level. I'm like, okay, I got level 3. I'm tired of this fucking level because it's huge. It's fucking like, it's ridiculously large. And then, like, it took me forever to find out where to go because it's like, oh, here's your little yellow fucking circle. Good luck, asshole. It could be here. It could be 900 feet in the air. It's only the fucking x-axis on this fucking bitch. And so, like, I finally figure out, oh, this lift actually has, like, 800 floors it goes to. We're in, like, the new World Trade Center fucking of lifts in this world. And I finally get up there, and I'm like, oh, hey, look, it's the fucking place. And then I get there, and I fucking go down this stupid-ass minecart thing. It says it gives me the key. It looked like a key to me. Apparently, it's a resurrection stone. Because I was like, you know what? Fuck this game. I'm, like, done. I'm done. And then I went to get somebody to kill me.
Oh, my God.
I walk up to this big fucking fat bastard down there. This, like, this fucking whatever the fuck they are. I don't even know. I'm just so mad at this part. And I had him kill me. And then when I died, I, like, got back up because the fucking item that the stupid minecart minigame gave me was a res stone, and I was like, are you fucking serious? I can't even die right. And so I just turn it off, and 2.5 hours gone. And then I was like, dude, what the fuck? Like, I thought I had the fucking key, and you're like, yeah, you gotta get the minecart game for the key. And I was like, I fucking know, it's what the stupid board says up top.
I never got a resurrection stone.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? And then I played it again, and I got it the first try, and I left. And I was like, what the fuck is this game? Like, God, and then later it does that too, where it's like, ooh, which one of these stupid little robot pricks has the gold key to let you in? You got 800 fucking, like, dudes launching shit at you. You got these fucking Robin Hood, whatever the fuck, they're like bullshit. Chopping hoods. Yeah, you got those pricks shooting you with these stun poison things, and then you got the fucking ghost, you know, fucking demons attacking you, and then you got the fucking asshole, the little magician robot guys zapping your ass, and you're like trying to fucking find the one with the key, and it's like, oh my God, and it's different, and it's not the same. Like, oh, fuck.
It's different and it's not the same.
It's different and it's not the same. What I'm really trying to say is there's variety. It's like, and the RNG fucking sucks. Dude, I had such bounty hunter flashbacks in this game, and that is not a good fucking thing.
Did. The platforming, the controls are bad. They're so bad. It plays like Kingdom Hearts, but Kingdom Hearts is so much smoother.
Yeah.
Like, when, you know, like when you whacking stuff and you're jumping around, it's very similar to the Kingdom Hearts games. However, Your character, I don't know if you played with the left analog stick that much to just see where he moves when you press that left analog stick, just a little bit, just a tiny little bit. I swear to God, this character only moves in 90-degree increments.
Yeah.
He never lines up exactly where the fuck you need him to be unless he has like the aiming reticle on a creature and he's like ready to block him. That's it. That's the only way for you to control where your character is fucking looking in this game.
Which is a big deal when the only time it's worth killing somebody is when you fucking scare the shit out of him by smacking some big ass rock into him.
Oh my God.
It's like, I can't fucking do it.
But there's fucking platforming involved with the guy who only moves 90 degrees. Like, you're right. I swear to God, and it's so much worse. I swear, Schweiss, there was a half a second, like there was a quarter of a second delay. A quarter of a second delay on my screen because I was streaming this thing. So it made the jumping from one place to another nearly impossible. When it was Chapter 5 was the other one I was really stuck on because the platforming was at a 10 in Chapter 5. Okay, you had to go from like building to building, and there were like these little roof things that would collapse if you didn't jump to the next platform in time. So the amount of time that I did that, I think, was around an hour as well, of just me trying to get up and hit some orbs to unlock the next area. That was so painful.
Yeah.
So painful.
What really pissed me off about level 5 was a lot of times what you'd have to do to like get easy access to the rooftops in Jad. That's the name of the town that you go to in the game. But the only way you could get up there is by like pile driving into these little circular disc things, like circular disc round objects. And they had like, they were like saw blades on the side.
Oh.
And so I would like slam down into it, and then somebody would shoot me, and I'd kind of bounce off, and then the saw blade would proceed to rip me a new anus in this freaking part. And then like I'd do it over and over again, and like I'd jump up there, I'd like do the little smash down. The guy would swipe me off the fucking platform, and then I'd get ground up by the saw blade again. Like I'm just like, fuck. And and that one didn't take me nearly as long, but it's not good, and it's like everything is at the very, and this is another bounty hunter thing, everything is like just far enough that you can barely make it. And so half the time you're like, am I supposed to get there this way, or am I like not seeing something else? And it's always, no, you're supposed to get there that way. You just gotta not fuck up at all. And you got dudes like shooting you and sniping you, and you're like midair, you get fucking swiped off the building.
No, this doesn't happen. What are you talking about?
And you put it great. The only difference between Bounty Hunter and this is that when you fall in Bounty Hunter, you're dead.
Yeah.
In this game, you don't die. You just have to climb back up the fucking
If
platforms.
you're wondering, if you're just a UFF listener, if you're wondering why we keep on mentioning Star Wars Bounty Hunter, go listen to the Star Wars Bounty Hunter review on Nude Clan and hear the pain of that game.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, leave that in childhood. If you ever played that in childhood,
don't play it again.
Don't play it again.
Holy shit.
It is something awful, and I would almost say the same thing here. The only difference, it is just as frustrating in its control scheme. However, Bounty Hunter is admittedly worse because it is less forgiving. Although this game is also difficult in its own sweet, sweet ways.
Yeah. And then, also, in addition to having to scare things with these random objects laying around town, when you're attacking, so you spook them, and then you start swinging your sword around and killing them, and you'll break the items. And like there's points where I'm trying to grind out levels, but I don't have anything to scare these guys with. And so like it's just a giant waste of my time.
Yeah, they're all destructible. And
and that happened all the time. And or like you'll be trying to knock them into them, and then it'll like fuck off and go in some random direction. And then you're like just over there like you're some dumbass in this world, just like holding your sword like with both hands like pounding into like the wall, like come on, break! I got to scare these guys, and they're just wailing on you, and you're like, this is so dumb. Like what am I doing?
This is really gonna scare them.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him. I'm gonna get him real good this time.
Like, can we add onto the platforming conversation, onto like the physics reaction conversation? Can we please add the random sliding in this game?
Oh my god, that's where the true like flashbacks came in from Bounty Hunter. Like, Dude, there's a part in the end, like I swear to God, the last level is made for like hamsters because there's fucking stairs that are just too big for you to double jump up 2 steps. So you double jump to get up 1 stair and you like just barely don't make it up. And so you got the mega stairs and then you get into the fucking ball tunnel and it's just this like, it is this horrible, horrible place. You got this huge fucking blue orb rolling through this thing, and it's like a barrel of a gun. It's like bored, and it's got this design, so the ball kind of like
spirals a little bit.
Yeah, it spirals, and you're trying to walk up this thing, and oh my god, the wall is the floor, the ceiling is the wall, and you slide, and like I'm sitting there trying to avoid this massive ball. The first time I got in there, I had like no health.
No,
it was like barely any health, and there's still a long
Those things
ways.
only annoyed me. They never killed me, but
and yeah, it got me, and I was like fucking like, and you gotta squeeze yourself against the wall. But what happened is I was walking against the wall, and then suddenly my guy like starts sliding down the side, and the ball is coming, and I'm just like no, just freaking out, like trying to dig my way out of this hole, and it just runs me over, and I die.
I imagine next time you're at like an arcade somewhere and you're playing skee ball, and that ball comes coming down the pipe, and just like get that the Doors starts playing, and you have flashbacks to all these fucking killing you in Dawn of Mana.
Yeah.
Oh my fucking god, it is so bad. The fucking physics in this game are so terrible.
Yeah. And you get, and like you were saying earlier about the Treant fight, like you just bounce. Everything fucking bounces. Like if you think Children of Mana was a lot of bouncy bounce, like this is way worse because of the consequences of the bounce. Like the
Children of Mana was kind of fun, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, it was like, oh, you laughed at it. It's like, oh, that was funny. That guy bounced all the way over here and nailed me. Now it's not fucking funny.
You're not bouncing in level 5 all the way back down to floor 1, where you then have to go up the painful platforming to get up to the last.
And everyone's trying to zap you, and the freaking, oh god, I died once from that. I was up there. I was there. I was at the end, and I got fucking swiped, and I fell off the entirety of the map. And then I'm climbing up, and then this fucker, this fucking like sniper mage just throws a fucking like zapper dude. There's like a little circle icon that shows you where they're targeting, and he like targeted above me. He like knew where I was going, and I jumped up there, and like at the last second I started to jump away, and he fucking zapped me, and I died. And it's so far back, and it's like right when you start the stupid fucking tunnel, like the tunnel with the ball. And so I'm like, fuck, I gotta do the fucking tunnel again. And then I gotta go through the little portal, and I gotta kill the fucking like wraith dudes, and then I gotta get out of the portal, and then I gotta go like travel like another 20 minutes. And I wasn't killing anything. I was like, fuck this, I'm out of this fucking game. Like, I'm done. I'm fucking tired of this fucker. And I can't kill anybody. I can't scare anybody because there's nothing to scare him with. And the only time I can scare him is when I like ascend the fucking steps to Olympus up here, and I fucking get to the top, and there's one measly little pillar I can knock down and maybe scare the shit out of like 2 people. I was like, fuck this game. I'm done.
Dude, no. I had to restart. I can't remember the chapter. I think it was level 7. When you are going through and you're attacking the other army, and you got Watts behind it, and he's chucking the shit. Okay, here's the thing. I thought I had cleared the area, and then I went to the bridge, and it collapsed on me, and there were the dragons below, and I killed them. I went back up. Watts was still on the other side.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that. I thought the game had glitched Watts away from me. I was sitting out there for like 30 minutes just killing everything in sight until there was nothing left to kill. And I still heard Watts. I thought he had made it to the other side of the wall. It didn't let me through. So I had to restart that part, and I realized, oh no, there was just another tower there, and he got stuck there. And I would have been waiting on him all fucking day for him to kill all those enemies before he came. Don't worry.
I think that's by design, because I did that too.
That hurt my soul.
Oh, that fucking
I
level
waited
was
so
brutal, too.
long for that shit.
The same thing happened to me. It was that like last area, and he was not there. And the problem with Watts, he's got this like uber killing machine, But the second somebody hits him once, he gets like
Including
stunned, including you. Yeah. He gets stunned and held back. So one little prick back in the beginning of the map can hold this fucking death machine up. It's the guy in Saving Private Ryan with like the sticky bombs. Like he's gonna shut that shit down.
Jesus Christ.
He's gonna die doing it, but he's gonna shut that shit right down.
It's more like if Tom Hanks was able to save the day with a single pistol at the tank.
Yeah.
Like if that worked,
Yeah.
that's what this game would be.
And it and that happened to me too, because I got to that last zone and it was a bloodbath. It was just me, and I was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah,
so
you need him for the dragons. You need him for the dragons.
Yeah, the
so
golden
bad.
dragons.
Because he stuns them.
And that's the other one. Like the end of that level. Oh my fucking god!
The flying fishes.
The flying fucking like. I don't even know what that thing is.
Let's talk flying fish.
Yeah. We gotta talk about the flying fish. They fly for a really long time. And the last one is really fucking high in the air. Oh, and you got these dudes in turrets somewhere shooting you. Don't know where they are.
Oh, don't forget about the spawning that is forever nearby, always knocking you off. Yeah, there's one large area, and you have to figure this out after 12 million years. Like, I have to hit the fucking fish that's 50 feet in the air in order to get through this level?
Yeah, you're
what?
like, where's the key? Where's the key? And then it's like, it's the giant fish.
It's in the fish.
Yeah.
It's in the fish.
There's always keys in the fish.
That's right. So you're up and there's 4 towers in this area. There's 4 fish flying around. It's not really 1 fish per tower because I was able to reach like 2 per each.
Yeah. I think you used the same one for all of them.
2 of the towers, easy to climb in
Yeah.
comparison. Still terrible, and I still fell down a lot. But of course they have these fucking like flying chicken things that are after you all like shooting spit at you all day long that you can't, and if you dare fucking attack them, you will fall the fuck off of the thing.
Yeah.
So don't hit him with a sword whatever you do, but then getting back up, a wraith will spawn when you're at the bottom and you're trying to jump up to the next floor, and he'll hit you with some frozen bullshit.
And then
And then you might still miss the fucking fish when he comes by because the fucking fucking depth perception of this game is atrocious.
Yeah, we're all blind.
There's like a slow flying pink skeleton fish going through the air, and it's like, I should be able to hit this from here. Nope.
Yeah, you fucking up. You're like, no, midair. You're like swinging. No.
And like, there was the first one I got was like easy. I'm like,
Yeah.
I got it.
It's all the fish, yeah.
And everything else was like one hit. Okay, go back up the Tower of Death. Wait for the fish. Oh my fucking god! Missed the fish for the second hit.
Yeah, as if climbing, you're just trying to make your asshole character climb the tower wasn't bad enough. You got dudes swiping at your fucking ankles the second and like I still don't understand the climbing. Like the fucking ladder's all busted up on the bottom.
Dude, you can't. There was one time only I was able to walk to a ladder and then climb up it.
Yeah.
The other times I had to jump 60 times towards the ladder until my character decided to climb on.
Yeah, every other time you're like, not this time. And then like I killed one of the fish, and then the new one was like right there, and I was like, oh sweet, let's go get him. Fucking jump, miss, jump, miss, jump, miss. And I'm like,
is that what you were talking about with the pink dragons?
Yeah, the pink dragons. It's a fish.
They look like a fucking dragon to me at all. You're like, man, those pink dragons were tough. That's what I got a text from Schweiss, and I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? You're gonna have to tell me what pink dragons. I knew the brown dragons, like the tan dragons that you fight all the time. But man,
fish.
They're fish shaped to me. I don't know.
And you can't hit them with you have like a slingshot that shoots pebbles in the game too, and they don't take damage from that. You have to hit them with the sword.
Oh yeah, I'm well aware.
It's the only thing in the game that's that way. It's those stupid fucking fish. And dude, the last one was so high, I didn't believe it was the fish. Like, I was like, I know every other key was in the fish, but this one's like fucking way up in the sky. I don't know how the fuck.
That one.
I had to like climb a tree off to the side. Like, it was ridiculous. And I got up there, and it was like one of those things where the tree's all shitty graphically, and it's like got fucking razor sharp edges. So if you're not right on the top, you're gonna slide off. And so I finally
he'll do his surfboard move.
Yeah. It's like style points as you fucking see the dragon fly by and you miss it. And it's every 10 minutes. Its stupid ass makes it over there. Yeah, I did that, and he was there, and I fucked it up. And I had to climb the stupid fucking tree again, which took forever. I got dudes shooting me because And the cannons, there's like these in each of the fucking like horrendous the guard towers that we climb to get the fish. Like there was one of them I found at the very end, but I was like, I don't know where the fuck these things are coming from. Like I'm just getting hammered by damage, and there's no like tracer around. There's no fucking like here's where it's coming from. It's just boom, and you're fucking dead. And I was getting so mad. And it's huge, and then like this is the tunnel, the place to go. It's like this fucking door. This hallway of doors, and you're like, oh, I found the key. That was pretty easy. One of those, pink fish. And then you open up door, and there's a fucking door behind the door. You kill another fish, there's a door behind that door. You kill another fish, there's another door behind the door. And then it's the butt plug door. Fucking special, like, anal fucking hookah door. And you get that one.
Anal hookah?
Yeah, it's ass hookah. It's so fucking bad. It's just, and the guy's like 1,000,000 feet. That's how you do it and pass it. If you do it in your ass, I can't.
It's really relaxing.
Yeah. Just blow smoke rings. They're pretty sweet. You got to become one with the sphincter. Oh, yeah, that's stupid. Yeah, he's just and the last guy is so high in the air, and you're just like, oh my God, why?
Platforming. So, the fucking boss fights in this game are brutal, and the platforming is brutal.
There were a few bosses I only died once on.
The physics are terrible, and the battles are weird, and the leveling up is weird. So, they tried something weird here. They tried to make like a very unique experience.
Well, they certainly did.
They did. And then, of course, man, I had real trouble with that tank thing, but I made it through that boss where he's just like constantly hitting you like crazy fast.
Yeah.
And like you can go up and shoot something in the air to fall on him, and you'll have like one opportunity to do that the whole thing. The rest of the time, I just had to like go up near him and hope he didn't hit me that hard while I was hitting him.
Oh, there were like little mines that you could throw in the corners, and you would like grab him with your little rope and toss him in the road, and he would like get all fucked up when you drove over him.
I never figured that out.
Yeah, that's how you beat him.
I played it in a very different way, and it was very brutal.
I was very mad at that guy, too. And I was like, this guy's not even... He's just fucking here randomly. And then he goes into the tree. After you win, he's like... and drives off, and then you never see him again.
Then there's the map with the masked guy as well, which was like... The Tower of Terror.
Yeah, the fucking paper tower of terror. You like do a cartwheel and you just bowl right through the goddamn wall and the floor.
My God.
And then
that boss wasn't hard. It just took me forever.
Yeah.
Because you have to like kill the mask thing in front of him for 1 point at a time with the fucking slingshot you have.
You can sword him if you get close, but
yeah, I could never get close twice. The guy was 1,000,000 miles an hour just zipping around the map, and he'll just like decide to change floors on you. Just randomly. It's atrocious. And then so that guy took me forever, but I didn't have to restart it over and over again. It just took forever to kill him.
Yeah.
And then of course we had chapter 8, the final chapter of the game. All the drama and stuff like that. The chapter you were wanting to get to. There are 3 different paths in that game, and unfortunately I took the north path the first time I tried to play that level. And the north path has a mushroom kingdom thing. Mushroom platforming kingdom that you have to go through and
naturally
hop from each tiny little mushroom to get to the top of the next floor. And then on the next thing, there was like a spinning fan blades of hell that were like the fan blades were all in different directions. You had to hop from one fan blade to another, and they would move on you depending on like how you landed on the fan blade. Horrible. That's when I looked up a guide, and he was like, take the east path. Yeah. The north one is technically shorter, but take the east one. I'm like, okay. And I texted you because I didn't want you to get stuck. I was like, take the east path. I went the east path. It was way easier to get through. And also you could like not go into the portal dimension of hell enemies. You could avoid that by going through the east way.
That's the one I went through. I'm pretty sure the portal.
Yeah, but you could see them easier because in the north one, I hit some like portals just like randomly. Like I would like destruct something and then whoops,
Portal to hell.
I'm in hell. And the portal to hell is like this like random other dimension with just a bunch of enemies you have to kill until someone drops or till they all die, and then you can finally get through the doorway.
Yeah,
Painful.
I ran into that on the last level 2 out of the 3 times, and then the third time I didn't. I was like, I don't understand this game at all.
You don't need to hit them. You can get away from them if you know where they're at.
Christ.
But then you had the final 3 bosses. Of course, one was a 2-phase boss that was against Shroud, and then the last one was Medusa, or Anise, or the Ritzia Anise.
Ritzia, Tizia.
And,
Medusa.
I was deathly stuck in easy mode, by the way. I was deathly stuck on Shroud in the second phase of his fight. And yes, you have to fight the first phase in order to get to the second phase over and over again when you are stuck on the second phase over and over again. The guy attacks you constantly. He does moves where he pulls you in off of wherever you are towards him, so you have to run away from him. And then in between those things, he's hitting you with like little tornadoes that you then have to like. The only way, and I didn't figure this out until I saw someone else doing it, the only way to deal with that is like, okay, you just have to memorize his phases and know he's about to do tornadoes, lock onto him, block, wait for the tornado phase to be done finally, and then jump onto the little seed thing, start hitting the seed thing. But I figured out the seed thing pretty early on. I'm like, why is it not doing damage anymore? When I got to this, okay, sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm getting way ahead of myself. Getting excited. The proper way to do this is that you hit the guy's feet a couple times until you can't do damage to him anymore, and then you run as fast as you can away from him to get onto like the little bulb on the ground that shoots you up in the air, and then you have to get to the bulb where you hit the little petal in the middle or the seed in the middle or whatever the hell that thing is, like an egg. If it's shining, that means you can hit it. So you go up and you hit the bulb, and when you hit the bulb and you destroy the bulb, then he gets stunned, and then you could go back. You have to jump way the hell back down to him, hit him a few times, run away again, do the bulb again, or if you didn't do enough damage, you have to hit him a few times before going back up to the bulb. But the bulbs don't light up unless you hit him a few times. Like the game decides how much health he has to be in order for the next bulb to light up.
Yeah.
And while he is wailing on you and pulling you in and throwing shit at you, it is just chaos. It is
nuts, yeah.
Terrible.
You got these.
I saw your text this morning and I was like, I know exactly what boss he's on without even looking at it. I just saw like the most recent one where you're like, when I woke up this morning, you just kind of see on your little notifications on your phone just the last text you said, like, this fucking fucker. Like, I knew it wasn't the last boss. I knew it was that one specifically.
God, yeah. And it sucks because you got to go through phase 1, which is pretty easy. And I did some like real Scooby-Doo bullshit on him. I was like running around him, just like doing laps around this guy. And the reason why it was Scooby-Doo is because sometimes he would like snap to me and then nail me with his attack. And the problem with this is you got this fucking honeypot elixir over here, right? And it goes away after a little while. But when you get into this first phase, it's there. And so I'm trying to like conserve that and wait till I get hit and use some magic a few times and then go snag it, and then it's gone.
Yeah, I figured that out pretty early on. It's like don't even worry about it. Just take the thing now.
Yeah, just use it.
Because I was on that fight specifically. It was just like, just take what you can get, because there are healing items that drop every once in a while out of items in the game, out of some of the destructible stuff. By the way, wasn't until the last, like, that fight, that second to last fight, that I found out that if there's a blue dot on your mini map,
they drop an item.
That's an item drop.
Yeah. The game tells you that in the beginning.
I didn't see that. I didn't see that the whole time. I was just like smashing stuff, and occasional points in this game where I was like, someone give me an item.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in the middle of a big battle, you can't really look at the mini map.
It's tough, but I did know that like the pots at the doorway always had something in them.
Yeah.
So you could like run towards that, but man, I had to do that one quite a few times. I had to do that one like 7 times. It was bad.
I think I died on that one.
And the only
Probably
way,
about 7.
I mean, I had to look up. I found a video after I was stuck there for a while of just a guy, some Japanese guy, having no damage and doing all these bosses. There's just a video on YouTube of him doing that.
That's
By the way,
wrong.
There's only 2 available I'm sorry, 1 full available guide for this game on the internet. 1, and it sucks. I'm sorry, whoever wrote it, but it sucks. That part that we were stuck on in chapter 3, I'm not kidding you guys. I am not kidding. You can look this up. But there was a part in chapter 3 where it goes, yeah, this area is kind of confusing to get through. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah, and then he doesn't try to explain it. It's so hard, I'm not even going to try.
Anyway, you got to hit things with to get a special key. And like, he doesn't even say what you have to hit for the special key, or else I would have gotten through that fucking part without having to look up a video of someone else speedrunning the game. But yeah, that's completely useless. The resources for this game are useless. I don't know if like the official strategy guide is useless or not. I'm sure it's not. But you never know with Square Enix. Maybe it is. But yeah, that fight was brutal. The final fight was pretty brutal until I figured out how to do it, which I was just begging you to do it right when I was sitting in here. There's a room, but you kept on taking those crystals and smacking yourself with it before.
It's giving myself a V8.
Else. That's right.
Yeah, dude, it was fucking God. That fucking the second phase. And see, here's what's so brutal about that part. Most of the time, you get your stupid little vine, you yank on your vine, and that's when you save, right? And it's right before the boss. This guy, not right before the boss. You got a fucking huge bullshit water tunnel that's full of, like, some solution of cum and whatever the hell is in Vienna sausages, like, because you step foot in the water and you're going, like,
cum.
1/4 of a mile an hour, and you got these pricks sniping you with their little stupid stun guns, and then you got these other asshole mages like conjuring up lightning to zap your freaking balls with. And then you got this fucking Centurion guy that's got this line. He's like, oh, prepare to be blah 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 blah. He says some bullshit, and you got to kill him. And that's when you see the game doesn't even know what it wants. Like you kill this guy. You got to kill 4 fucking regular dudes, and then this guy spawns. And then you kill him, and then you don't get a key. The door just opens. It's like, well, what happened to the keys?
That one pissed me off, too. I was like, well, if I could just hit the right guy.
It pissed me off because he killed me, like, a couple times. Like, I was just trying, I'm trying to just get to the guy. I don't want to fuck with this guy forever. Like, I'm not going to mess around with this stupid prick before the boss. And then he kills me, and I was, like, enraged. Just like, what the fuck, man? Like, I can't even get to the fucking boss. Why did you put the vine? Why would you not put the vine right before the boss like every other time? We have a system here. We got a fucking system. There's like a structure. We got systems in place for this shit, and you just said, nah, just kidding. None of that matters. Not only is the vine
You'll get
forever
through this guy
away,
easy. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. And it's like, oh, yeah, I'll just grapple that stupid thing. Oh, it doesn't work on him. Yeah, it doesn't work on him. And then what do you want me to do? Sacrifice one of my precious fucking magical attacks on him? That's one of the times I did. I was like, fuck this guy, and I froze him like 4 times and just whooped his ass.
Instead of like hitting him with an object, there are like spells in the game, and depending on the spell and depending on the enemy, you can use them up, but there's not that many that drop, so you got to use them sparingly. It's really ridiculous. So yeah, those final 2 fights were pretty rough. Second to last fight was really rough, but as you said before, the tree one was the one we were both stuck on the longest.
Dude, yeah.
Chapter 2 we were stuck on.
You gotta like catch this dumbass on fire, and you've got these fucking pumpkins that fall from the sky that start to glow, and then they explode. I don't know what's with the timing on these things, but like there were many times where one would explode, I would fly, because everything flies around in this game, just like the last one.
And your guy also, whenever he gets hit by something, he takes 20 minutes in order to get back up again, too.
Yeah, he does not recover easily from anything. And you fly, and then you fucking... I flew from one to the other, to the other, to the other. There was one time I got 4 straight, and I just died. And I was like, I was doing great. Like, I was doing so good against this stupid fucking tree. And then it's like, oh yeah, there's these little pods on the ground you can shoot and catch little logs on fire. The only problem with that is that the fire for the log lasts about half a second longer than the fire that will engulf your body from the little pod that you launch. And honestly, the only reason I beat him is because like the game gave me the win. Like there was shit like fire all over this fucking guy.
There was like some pumpkins that landed near him. And
and there's like
trees to hit him a few times.
Trees that were like up his ass that were on fire, and I just wailed.
All while these tentacles are out smacking you around.
Tentacles, and then these prick rabbits, these stupid purple bastards that are like, it's just a little like cute
while he's
fluff.
saying over and over again, "You're fertilizer."
Yeah. And it's the ugly bastard I've been complaining about for months now.
Ugly tree.
The tree guy. And oh man, I'm so glad I finally brought him down.
You're fertilizer. Oh, not the only constantly repeated line throughout every fucking part of this game.
Not even close to the only one.
You should find a platform up. Hey, isn't there something up there? What's up there? Hey.
Yeah, I love how the fairy is like late to the party every time too. She'll like give me a hint, and I'm like, I'm in the middle of a water area. Like, what are you fucking talking about? Like, oh, look at that. Can we jump up there? What if we did this? Or like, as I'm doing it, she's like, oh, what if you tried this out? It's like, oh, thanks a lot. Yeah, real fucking helpful. Yeah, dude. Man, this game is so frustrating.
Clearly. That's the gameplay. Is there anything else you might add?
I like the way I think it's cool the way they did the leveling, and it honestly is kind of like a different way to do the same thing if you think about it, because RPGs normally, if they're like well put together and they progress naturally, everything will be a little bit stronger. So it's almost like you're going back to level 1. So the way they did it is kind of like a new way to look at the same thing, and I thought that was kind of cool. I really didn't mind that.
Yeah, I guess the only thing I didn't like about it is that I couldn't overlevel somewhere else and be able to breeze through the next area, which I enjoy doing or having the ability to do in other games.
Yeah, you had to front load it. And
this one makes you deal with the enemies.
There's also
no matter what.
optional bouts that you unlock. So not only is this game similar to Bounty Hunter, it mocks me with bouts every time you save your fucking game. It triggers me. They're like little arena-style fights where you're just in an area and you're just clearing out dudes. And you can, when you go into that menu, you can actually spend your lucre, which is the currency in this world. You can use that to buy new medals to then upgrade your stats for single player and through those bouts. I didn't do all of them. I did like 4 or 5, and then I said, fuck this, I gotta beat this game.
Yeah, I really was like, I don't want to do anything extra in this game at all.
Yeah, you're like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I had no idea what you were talking about.
Never heard of that word.
I was like, oh, that's in the main menu? I'm not going back there. Who messes around in that area?
Yeah, seriously.
Oh, and you also can't change your game from normal to easy in the same thing. You do have to start over in order for that to happen. I found that out. That was a nice little addition there. Definitely, troublesome game. Game.
Very difficult to play. It was rough. It's hard. Yeah, even the guy who's like crazy at these games, like Brulo, who's been playing along with the Mana games, he even said this one's hard. Like he's like, this one's rough, and he was like, oh, the last one was a cakewalk, or the fucking last one was a cakewalk, but the one before, Trials, which rocked me pretty hard at the very end, he was like, he had no problem with. And then he said, this one's tough. So he was right. This one is very tough, and it's weird, and everything about it is just strange.
You have to take your time, and you have to scare the enemies, and that's the key to this game.
Yeah, that's the only way.
And that crying is actually our souls.
Yeah.
You could hear that crying out.
Don't be fooled. It's not a child.
This is what it felt like to play this game and to be stuck on the same boss over and over again with the fairy saying the same piece of dialogue over and over and over again. Terrible. The design, the music, so the aesthetic things about this game, the design, it's kind of Kingdom Heartsy, oddly, like you were talking about with the enemies and stuff like that. It does have that weird washed out green, light green palette that the other Mana games have been having in their artwork. And I think that it looks kind of terrible on the PS2.
Yeah, it definitely looked worse for you.
Oh, it did.
Because
It did. But I was looking at your screen. I'm like, it's easier to see things on this kind of tube television this stuff was made for. But
yeah,
it's still like the color design and stuff like that. I just thought was kind of weird and washed out.
It's crisper, but it still looks like shit.
Yeah, it's not a great looking game. The music, I think, is probably the best thing about the game. Largely composed by Ito, as we were talking about before in the development. And I was humming along to a lot of the tracks. I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I think it's probably one of the best soundtracks in this series of Mana games. Probably third place for me, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, it's not as iconic as the first and second place, but I think it is pretty good. I think the song at the end is kind of dumb, but you know, any Grammy Award-winning Japanese composer, I'm probably not going to like.
I'm only guessing that that's the song that he composed. But yeah, I really enjoyed the soundtrack. I just really had a good time. And people that were hopping on Twitch and talking to me about it were always commenting on the soundtrack because it's really good.
Yeah, they do a good job with the soundtrack each time in this series. It's always been good. That's one thing that's been a nice staple. Everything else definitely feels like B Team or Z Team material at times. Like shit that they would never allow in a big game that they were like, yeah, fuck it, just play around with mana, you know?
Yeah. So we do have one email from Jake Haulian. This is Brulo, I think.
Yes.
So he has some questions and his own review for us before we get into Legacy and our final thoughts. It says, hi guys, didn't think you'd get much in terms of fan feedback on this one. No, he did not. So I'm writing despite of not quite being done yet. Question 1, is the level system in the game one of the worst abominations you've ever experienced in a purported RPG series?
Maybe.
Schweiss likes it. I don't really care for it, but in the end, it was not one of the bad, horrible, atrocious things about this game. When I first started it, like when I got to chapter 2 and I was like, what? That's when I felt that way, but not by the end of the game. Question 2. These are just like, do you want to agree with me or not questions. So was the intro music being a reimagining of the FF Adventure theme pretty cool? Yes.
Yeah. And you commented on that, I think. I remember you saying something about that.
The same thing happened to Children of Mana. They were both... I love that theme, so I love it being the main theme. They missed it for 2 games in the series. Now they're finally back to it, so that's nice.
That's true. Yeah, it has been used a few times. It's good. It's a good piece of music.
So, number 3, having played most of the Mana series now, do you think this works better, worse, or about the same as a series like FF in terms of progressively building on each game in the franchise, or where necessary blowing it up and starting from scratch?
I don't know if it's necessary to blow this up.
I mean, this is one guy in charge of it, and there seems to have been a progression through Trials of Mana, and then they went fucking haywire with Legend of Mana. So this is almost like, I think Children of Mana kind of brings it back a lot further, and this was like their reimagining of it in a 3D realm, plus the obsession with like destructible objects and scaring things. So it is bizarre. I don't think I could compare this 1-to-1 with Final Fantasy. It doesn't quite build upon their stuff. It does take, they're all thematically linked like Final Fantasy and not really like super structurally linked. They're not in order in terms of like when stories take place or anything like that, but there are elements that are common throughout.
Yeah, I think this one's came out of left field as Legend. I think they're similarly strange for the series. They're very bizarre games. I think
I could see this as like the next step up in terms of like enemies popping up in the areas. It does feel like a continuation. It does feel like a rough demo of a continuation. It doesn't feel like a complete game.
Yeah,
but it does feel like a continuation of Trials of Mana in that way. Just the attacking things and enemies popping up in new areas and moving on. That's the only way that I guess it is similar. Because then it has the vine things and single linear chapter level. So that doesn't make any sense. So it really is just enemies, which is a dumb thing to be the only thing that I guess goes along with them. So I'm retracting my entire statement right now.
Yeah.
I've talked myself through it. This one is bizarre.
I think just the way the game plays is so strange for the series. Like it's kind of, it's like, honestly, it is kind of like Legend, where it's a little bit slower. It's a little bit slowed down. This one's faster than Legend, thank God. But yeah, they're both just weird. They're just weird games that like don't really fit. And the next one's a fucking RTS thing, so that's not going to fit either. Jeez. I think at the end they ran out of ideas and they're like, fuck it, just slap a game together. Anybody got any ideas for a game, any game? Slap it together. Oh, we already did that one for Revenant Wings. Nobody cares. Throw it in there. We're going to do it again. Fuck it.
God.
I think they just ran out of ideas and they still wanted to milk this already dry teat. And that's what they came up with.
Yeah, so his review, his disclaimer, I've not yet finished on Amana, but I am a decent way through it, that I feel comfortable submitting a listener review. This game is mostly summed up to me as annoying. Take most of the things that made the Mana series beloved and turn it on its head into an arcade dungeon crawler. Actually turning this game on to play felt more of a chore than enjoyment, probably why I'm not done yet. There are some neat aspects like the music and slightly expanded story. However, the negatives of this game far outweigh any semblance of progress in the series. If your fan base is predominantly JRPG fans, why in God's name would you remove every RPG element from the game? The controls can be forgiven, as they were living in an era where 3D action-adventure games were somewhat new, yet Ocarina of Time did this battle system so much better. This is the only Mana game I've played that I hate. Rankings. Number 1, Secret of Mana. Number 2, Trials of Mana. Number 3, Adventures of Mana. Number 4, Children of Mana. Number 5, Getting Hit by a Benevodon. Number 100, Dawn of Mana. Cheers, Brulo. Sorry to hiccup through your entire review. The legacy of this game didn't sell super well. It sold like 200-something thousand copies in Japan. Sold 70,000 copies in North America. We could safely say
garbage.
This was not much of a success.
Yeah, that's probably why when I saw it, I was like, ooh, that looks rare. It's like, yeah, because I didn't make it.
It will be rare. I should have kept mine shrink wrapped, and we should have only just used your copy.
We pretty much did. I mean, we might as well have, yeah.
Because someday it'll be worth something if they make like a new good Mana game in the future, and then people are like, let's revisit the series, and then the prices of everything else go up. But yeah, no one's played this fucking game, and it also
haven't finished it.
Got poor reviews. I think I said so before, but 57 out of 100 Metacritic score.
Yeah, the legacy for me, it is largely unknown. I mean, Mana gets progressively less popular as it goes on, as far as I can tell. And this isn't even a DS game. Like a DS game, you can give you can excuse because it's like, oh, I'm just fucking around. I'm just taking a shit, so I'm going to play the DS, or whatever. It's for kids. Like,
yeah.
Not that I'm like shitting on the DS. It's a great console, but there's a level there that you don't have to sit down and seriously play the game.
It's not a AAA title.
Yeah, but there's no excuse on this one. Yeah, it's just,
I would say like the Mana games, the first 3, they all got like really popular. Secret of Mana did really well. Yeah. They didn't even port Trials of Mana into the States for some reason,
which is crazy because it's the best one according to both of us.
Yeah, and then they just started fucking around, and this one is supposedly the 4th one, This is the direct sequel to Trials of Mana.
It's based on the fucking spin-off of the last one.
Yeah,
it's got shit in there.
It's way more close to that one than it is to any of the 3
Yeah, so it's like, how can that one be a spin-off if this one is based on that one, but that one's not a main series game?
God.
Doesn't that mean this one should be a spin-off to the spin-off? But no, it's I guess when you do double spin-off, it's like a double negative and it becomes positive again, and that's why it's a main game.
So overall, this game is fucking frustrating as shit.
Yeah.
I played it. I had to restart it into easy mode, and it was still just because of the platforming elements, not even like the difficulty of the bosses, which were still sometimes pretty difficult.
Yeah. I believe you. I really do.
Yeah, it was just ridiculously frustrating, not very fun. The controls were terrible. I wouldn't even say they aged poorly because other games I've played from this era, including Kingdom Hearts, which I popped on not too many months ago just to like play around with the first level or something like that. Controls are way better. It's the same company, and it's a couple years later.
Yeah.
This is such bad performance on Square Enix part. Oh my God. So like that's frustrating. Yeah, the story is a little bit better than the other Mana games. Not that that's saying that much. And in my opinion, and the music is fantastic. That's the best part. Just download the music off of something. Like, that's all, and you'll get your experience. That's good. You
get the good part, yeah. I wanted to like this game, and I was enjoying it in some way. I don't know. Maybe
I like scaring enemies after I figured out that system.
Yeah, and it wasn't that bad. It was just kind of like a different way to level up. And I'm like, I get it.
But then that's in between the flat platforming and the frustration with the key drops.
Yeah. I don't know. There was moments where I was like, I know we're burning through this game, but I probably would be playing this pretty fast right now anyway. Because once you got the hang of it, like around level 3, after level 3, it clicked. And like the game just made sense to me. Like the controls, the shittiness of it, like my spectrum of autism like aligned with the game, and I could play it now functionally. Whereas before I was just floundering around, getting my ass chewed. But I don't know if I necessarily had fun in the game. And like I even told Jake, I was like, he's like, "Oh, you're not liking that one?" It always looked interesting to me, and I was like, I am not. No, I am not liking it.
The cover makes it look like some special Square Enix rare game that everybody loves, but it's not.
No, it's not very good.
It's a bad game. Now, where is it on your rankings? I'll say mine first. I think there's no question that Trials of Mana is still the best game. Now, you may be like, well, is this going to second place? I'll tell you, no, it's not. It's going to be Secret of Mana next, and then Final Fantasy Adventure, and then we're doing Children of Mana, and then barely edging out the boring fucking Legend of Mana will be this game, Dawn of Mana, just above it for me.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. Legend of Mana is so fucking boring, and I have nothing to say about it. It was tough to do that review. So
it's tough to do this one. I want to stab you for your fucking hiccups. You son of a bitch.
Sorry.
I know it's not your fault. It's like getting mad at someone for like passing their cold to you, or I don't know. Fucking God, I'm gonna kill you. Anyway,
done.
I know. I can't just waiting for like, oh, this is so annoying. Joe's hiccuping. What are you hiccuping, you fucking loser? It's just,
you want me to do? Wait a day?
That's kind of how I feel now, but it's like, no, that's unreasonable.
You haven't had much sleep, Swat.
That too, yeah. I don't know. I was toying with where to put this thing, and I wanted to put it in the garbage. And I was like, all right, look, it's really not that bad. It's just really not that good. Like, and that's what I said earlier. I was like, the game's not that bad. I just really don't want to play it anymore. And part of that's because I'm burning through it. And there was a moment where I was like, you know what? This game is going to make this fucking series, Crystal Chronicles, it's going to bring it down to that level of like mediocrity.
It's pretty close to Crystal Bears in terms of its physics.
It's fucking is. Bad. It's a lot better than Crystal Bears, but it is there's not much that's worse.
A lot better, it's better, but it's not a lot better.
You don't have a fucking Wii mode, at least. Oh, fuck. Yeah, don't bring that up. Yeah, I was toying between either above Legend and Children, or the bottom, or somewhere in between those two. So I'm going to say I'm going to put this one slightly above Children of Mana, just a little bit. I did start to have a little bit of fun, I guess, with the game. Once you understand it, it's okay. It's just kind of like one of those old games. It's like, honestly, it reminds me of Bounty Hunter and Alice, American McGee's Alice. It's like clunky old game. It's not that fucking old, though. That's what pisses me off about it. It's really not that old, but it feels like it's old, It
feels like it's first generation PS2. Like, it feels like something that came out in the first year, but it didn't.
Yeah, like a release game?
It didn't. It came out in 2007.
I know. That's after Final Fantasy 12. That's bullshit. That's fucking bullshit. And like, it's the physics and shit that they concentrated on that made it the way it is, but man, is it frustrating. But I am going to put it second to worst in the Mana series.
Mine's there as well.
Bottom up, we got Children of Mana. It's not a bad game. It's probably it might be better than this, but it's just it's very mediocre. This one's got a better story, and it can be fun at times. And then after that, I had
Legend.
I did have Legend, and then I had
I think
Adventure.
Similar or the same?
Did I have Legend above Adventure? I don't think I did.
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. They're all just kind of meh. But then the top two, obviously, Secret is number 2, and Trials is definitely number 1. And it's a great game. Those first 3 are pretty damn good. And then it just kind of like, it's this slide, and then it's a cliff. And then, and I don't know. The next one's single player, and it's RTS. So
we can do multiplayer on the next one, by the way.
Oh, can we?
Yeah.
Well, we should mess around with it a little bit at least.
It's on the case.
We should mess around with it a bit.
Yeah.
I'm going to play it on my trip a little, but we should mess around with it near the end.
I might not touch a Mana game for a few weeks.
Yeah, give some breathing room.
Maybe. This one kind of ruined my life for a week. So.
Yeah. We played it pretty hard. We thought, like you said, it was going to be a layup, and then it was a fucking half-court shot.
23-hour hell for me, so...
So I tallied up my time, 17 hours, 25 minutes, and 3 seconds. And that's counting the deaths in between the saves and everything. So
yeah.
It ain't no 12-hour game.
No. Okay, guys, that's it for this episode. You can support us on Patreon if you want. We have a Discord channel, link in the description below if you want to join the conversation. It's really fun over there. Our other show, Nude Clan, which I am now a full host back on to, so go check out Nude Clan and check out that Bounty Hunter review for reference on a lot of things in this episode. Anyway, Schweiss has got to go, so we'll see you next time.
Enjoy the